What is going on, Diablo fans? Dobrunsky here, and today I'm going to be briefly discussing the February 26th Diablo 4 quarterly update. Now, I'm a little bit behind in this video, I apologize, but the three key takeaway points that we're going to talk about is the updates to the user interface, inventory, and action bars specifically. Second, controller support for PC and reworking couch co-op for the next-gen consoles. And finally, monster family categories and the introduction of a new monster group called the Cannibals. A lot to cover in this video. Let's jump in. The first thing that they start talking about is the reworking of the way the inventory looks based on coloring and the style and size of the item icons and kind of the overall aesthetics of how everything looks. So they've done things like based on the item progression here, they've added different little borders and colors. They're not trying to have it be like super visual, like eye-popping. They're trying to stick with the theme of kind of that dark and gritty nature. So I think that these items look pretty nice. I mean, if you compare them to Wolcen Lords of Mayhem, this is just a brand new ARPG game. It's just released. I did a playthrough on it. I definitely like, well, I mean, honestly, I think that the items, they look better. It's not drastically that much better compared to the items in Wolcen, but that's not really something that I care too much about. But they have talked about reworking the way that the inventory looks like when you bring up the character. And again, they've really been stressing everything is a work in progress. So this image itself here has changed quite a bit based on the demo or the early initial kind of taste that we got of Diablo 4 at BlizzCon. They've changed it around a bit. Now, I'll be honest, myself, I think it looks great. Like, it looks really nice. I'm just not a massive fan of seeing the character in the center. I kind of like the helmet, the body armor, you know, shoulder pads, just the way it kind of looks on like Diablo 2 or even Diablo 3, Wolcen PoE. I'm not a huge fan of the guy in the center. Well, that's me just being a little bit picky. It's not really a huge thing. They talk about rebinding left click. So basically they're just taking our feedback into consideration and how players want to be able to assign left click just to moving, so they're not actually accidentally casting a spell. Something that I was advised to do when I started my first kind of jump into of playing a PoE. So yeah, they're just listening to what we have to say. Now, I really like this, talking about the inventory bar. I was a huge fan of this. It was the very first thing that I noticed when they started talking and, you know, just showing off Diablo 4 at BlizzCon, is I absolutely love this bar being on the side. Now, for most people, you probably don't care, but for me personally, aesthetics wise, for a stream layout, I really like it kind of being tucked off the side. It lets you, you know, do cool things, like you can position yourself anywhere you want, possibly in the center or way off to the side, maybe have like your alerts pop up here or something. An aspect that I don't think people, the general like gameplay population of Diablo 4 will really care about, but they talk about how they plan on having this left hand side for consoles specifically and then having it in the center for PC, although they will give us the option of having it on the left hand side if you're playing PC. And specifically, they say that it's because of the distance, the closer you are to a monitor if you're playing a computer versus sitting on a couch further away from the TV screen. It's just easier on your eyes aesthetically for the player. So really kind of diving into like what can be the best possible experience and really paying attention to all the finer details. So very, very positive. Although definitely myself personally, I'm a huge fan of this and probably what I'm going to rock when I start streaming Diablo 4, to be honest. I like it on the left-hand side. After that, they talk about unifying the user interface experience if you're going to be playing on console or using a controller for PC or just your mouse and keyboard. So they have kind of a GIF here, an example of just having these column interfaces. So mouse, you're kind of just going wherever you want, but on the controller, you kind of over, straight down, and then whatever you're selecting, just to try and make that experience a little bit better, because a lot of people have told me that Diablo 3 plays very well on console, the actual gameplay, but it's horrible kind of opening and working with the inventory. So this is the Blizzard team trying to address those issues and make Diablo 4 better. Again, it's something that I don't really care about because I'm probably not going to be playing with a controller, but it's there for those that want to play it on console. Then they spend a little bit of time talking about couch co-op and how, I guess, an issue with Diablo 3 on console. Again, I've never played it on PlayStation 3, but if you're playing 2 people together on a couch, one person opens up the inventory, the other player can't do anything. So they're trying to work on improving like that 2-player co-op experience. Again, something that I'm probably not going to ever use, but at least they're trying to make the best possible experience for everybody who is going to be playing it on different platforms. I don't think it's really a surprise that they plan on releasing this on console, because obviously Diablo 3 was released for PlayStation 3, so it makes sense for them to try and make as much sales in terms of like a PC audience and next-gen console, etc. So they're trying to cater to everybody and doing it simultaneously at the same time. Then they talk about some classifications with monsters in D4 and how D3, using as an example, they have broad categories: demon, unholy, undead, humanoid, and wildlife. They want to change that approach in Diablo 4, where each basically like massive category of monsters, so the drowned is one example. In a bit we'll talk about the cannibals, but they want to have various types within each kind of like member of monsters. So for the drowned specifically, they provide the example of bruiser, ranged combat, melee combat, swarmer, and a dungeon boss. Now they really emphasize kind of varying combat based on the different archetype within each family. So the cannibal family lineup, they show some different examples here of some guys that will be ranged, some big bruisers, single-handed like two-handed weapon attacks. Couple different little GIF examples here. But the big takeaway point here is that based on the archetype of the monster, it's going to influence its AI and how it attacks you. So you will have to change your approach on how you fight those enemies. So really just trying to avoid mindlessly clicking and killing stuff, having to sort of give a thoughtful approach to how you're going to be attacking enemies. So overall, I think that that is pretty positive. I think that Blizzard's listening to what we have to say. They are paying attention to the smallest details, like trying to refine the inventory on feedback, and then trying to cover very important things like approaching broad audiences and then having an awesome combat mechanic system that's going to, with varying AI with monsters, so we actually have to think about how we're playing. So overall, very positive impressions. But let me know in the comment section below what you guys think. You might think, yeah, D4 sucks, or you're kind of getting more of a better feeling towards the game when it's going to be released. Love to know what you guys think in the comment section below. And as always, if you could throw a like on this video, share it, and if you consider subscribing if you're new to my channel. I post new weekly content and stream on a consistent basis, so there's always new stuff to look forward to. Your support with the sub means a lot. Other than that, guys, hope you have a fan-frickin-tastic day, and I'll see you on the next Diablo video or live stream. Peace out.